Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new show and tell from me. My name is Peter, and today we'll be looking at a prototype. Now, the story is, I was on Facebook one day, and somebody wrote to me from a Facebook account called APH Toscana Watches, and they asked me if I would be interested in reviewing their watches. Now, the thing is, I got a bit suspicious because I'm not that well known yet that watch companies barrage me with requests to review their watches. Normally, I have to ask them or something like that. So I was a bit suspicious, and I thought, okay. So I wrote back and I said, well, I'd love to have a look at the watch, and he sent me a picture, and from the picture, I thought, wow, that actually looks cool. And, after some writing back and forth, I decided to go for it. The reason I was suspicious is I'd never heard of APH Toscana watches before, and that's because they're a brand new microbrand company, and this is their first watch. So that's why I haven't heard of them, and, I just really don't want some rickety, horrid watch to turn up, which I have to review, and how can I review something that I don't like? Anyway, I saw the picture of this watch and I instantly knew that, this was interesting. So I agreed to it, and they sent me their prototype, which in itself is really cool. Thank you very much for that, guys. And it came today, and when I opened the box, I was very, very pleased. And, the whole thing just looked really cool. Now, let me show you guys. This is the APH Toscana watches, the Vesuvio prototype. And there it is. Now, how cool is that? You see, the thing about this watch is it just doesn't just look good, it feels good. Not knowing this watch company, I was a bit, I was really hoping this turned out to be good, and it did, So, it just looks cool, doesn't it? I like this design, I really do, I must say. It's and I'm very honoured that they trust me enough to send me their prototype. Now, the finished model will look like this, but there will be small changes. We'll talk about that later. So, first of all, let me give you some stats on it. It's 42 millimeters in size, 13 millimeters in thickness. It has a sapphire glass with anti-reflective coating. The movement in this is a Seiko NH38A automatic movement. From lug to lug, it's 49 millimeters. It has a BGW9 loom. Obviously, it has an open heart at the 6 o'clock. It's depth rated to 10 ATMs or 100 meters depth rating. It has screw down crowns at the 12 and the 6 o'clock. So, let's have a look at it. Obviously, the first thing that stands out on this watch is the screw down crowns, and I find that rather cool. Now, if you obviously the bezel can't be turned here, so one doesn't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that one of these two is to turn the bezel. Now, as far as I remember, I've only tried this a couple of times. I think it's the bottom one that turns the bezel. We will now attempt to do that. I'd like to say, when you screw this out, it feels really, really nice and tight. Now, there's no wobbly, it feels very well made. So now it's loose, and one can turn the bezel quite easily, in fact, just by doing like this. And the bezel turns, and it feels very well made. And it certainly is a new way of looking at watch, a bezel design. And it's interesting because there's also, the norm for divers watches is that you have a unidirectional bezel, which means that it can only turn one way. So are you diving and you strike it against something or against your own wetsuit and it turns some clicks, you're not going to gain 10 minutes and think you've got 10 minutes more air than you have left or something like that. You're going to lose 10 minutes, which means that you're still not in danger of any. But with this design, you change it to what you want, and then you just press it in and screw it in. and whoopty, and nothing at all in the world will change the time you just set. It's going to be there until you screw that out and turn it again. So that's a very a very good, safe way of having a dive bezel. Now, as I've always said with dive watches, the norm is that dive watches are supposed to have 200-meter depth rating. I don't necessarily agree with that. 100-meter depth rating is fine for a sports diver. There's the deepest I've ever been is 78 meters, and that was, that's a deep dive. So 100-meter depth rating on a diver's watch like this is fine. So don't be dissuaded by that. There are many really, really cool watches that only are depth rated to 100 meters. The reason I think these screw-ins, they're very, very nice, tight and precise. They have O-rings. It's just very pleasing. The thing that I think that does that is only depth rated for 100 meters is that it doesn't have a screw-in case back. Now we'll get back to that later, but this is a case back here, where it has the APH Toscano logo, which is actually a rather cool looking logo, on the back. Now we'll get back to the case back later. So this is a new and innovative way of having a bezel on a watch for time, and I enjoy that. I think it's very cool indeed. So it's the overall look of this watch. I really like it. Now that some of you guys might be thinking this is an ugly watch, and for you it is, but for me, and I find this very attractive. I like it. I like the design, and it's very pleasant to look at. I like the open heart. There you go. That is cool. Now let's talk about what's going to happen to this watch. This watch is already in production. I think that it will be coming out in a month's time or so, but I might be wrong. I can't quite remember what APH told me. Let me just explain that APH Toscana watches are actually based in Australia. But the reason they're called Toscana watches is because they have their roots in Italy, in that area of Italy, and that's why they've decided to call themselves APH Toscano. Their roots are Italian, and that's why. Like my roots are Greek, but I live in Denmark. It doesn't make me less of a Greek. Anyway, so when the final watch comes out, there are some rather big changes that are going to be made, and I've APH have told me that they will send me a watch when it's finished, which I can make a quick review about also, or show and tell. But the main things that will be changed in this is, first of all, APH will have their logo on each of the screw-ins. There will be an open or a see-through case back. Again, this is possible because of the 100-meter depth rating. And they will be changing the movement from this Seiko NH38A to a ETA 2824-2, which is cool. Very cool, very, very good movement. A lot of the watches use them. So those are the major differences that will be in the finished watch. I've always been a sucker for open case backs, and a watch that has an open heart and an open case back, it's going to let some light in when you take it off and look at it, and it's going to look really awesome, I think. Yeah. So that's what's in store for them. Apart from that, I've had this watch on today, and it has pleased me a lot. APH asked me to remember to make a wrist shot and a loom shot. Now I have a problem with loom shots. There's the wrist shot. It's a rather handsome watch. They talked about reducing it in size a bit, which I personally asked them not to. they're obviously going to ignore me totally, but I like the bulky watches, and I think this design merits to be bulky. Well, I would find, it's I was pleasantly surprised by the size of this. I really was. It looks awesome on mesh too. That's very, very nice indeed. So the Loom Shot, well, I can try, but it means me having to switch off all too many lights. If you'll just excuse me for 1 second. Now, I promised, APH to do a Loom Shot, so therefore I will. Give me 2 seconds to switch everything off, and I will be back. Right. So this is the Loom Shot of it, and because of my camera, I can't focus because of this. Yeah, well, anyway, as you can see, it has an awesome loom. Unfortunately, I can't focus in total darkness with my camera. But I think you can probably, think you can probably see how this is working out. Oops, nearly did focus there. Nearly focused. Anyway, so it has some cool loom, and wish I could focus. Anyway, right, I'm back with after my Loom Shot thing. Anyway, so now that was a Loom Shot of this watch. All in all, I can say that this is the first watch from this new microbrand company, and I must say, as a first watch, and remembering that this is only a prototype, they're doing really well. This is an awesome watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing the finished version. With all the details, well, all details, with the beautiful old italic sun, which they also have as their profile picture on Facebook. On each of these crowns, and with the see-through case back, and the new movement, and I think it's going to be an awesome watch. I must say, this watch as a first watch from a new company is a bullseye for me. It really is, and yeah. So I can say to all you out there, keep a good eye out for APH Toscana watches. I think this company is going to go places. And yeah, I promise to make a show and tell over the finished version of this watch when it's available. And until then, I'd like to say thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this watch. I did, and still do. If you like what I do, please like and subscribe. Also, please join my Facebook group. It's called Peter's Show and Tell Facebook group. Yeah, well, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll be back when they send me the new and finished version. Bye-bye.